What do you know about Virgos?
I'm emotional.
See, there you go. Couldn't help
Perfectionist.
Oh.
My best friend.
Are we recording this?
My wife and my oldest son is are Virgos, and yeah, I definitely now. Yeah, they're all Virgos. Great people. I mean, I'm surrounded by Virgos, right? But yeah, my wife and my son, and Jarrell, who I think you might have spoken to before, they're definitely perfectionists.
That's what he is.
So when are their birthdays, if you don't mind me asking?
So Jarrell is September 1st, then my wife is September 13th, my son is September 21st. Okay. So he's leaning more on the back inside. And September's crazy because my grandmother, my nephew, these are all Virgos. My grandmother, nephew, my wife's sister, and probably maybe 2 other people, all in that the first 3 weeks of September. It's a heavy birthday month for us.
And Virgos are emotional.
That's the second time.
We got
it the first time.
They're so emotional.
I don't know if I get emotional.
Thanks, Eric.
You probably just.
I'm a Libra. Okay. No,
but Sean's just got used to it.
Sean's a Virgo.
He just appreciated more.
You probably just got used to it. But Virgos, you be like, it's not that deep. Calm down.
Well, I guess I guess right. So, in the aspect of it being right or it not being perfect is the part of that triggers the emotion, I guess. Right. So that makes it emotional. So, and mind you, you'll have the. So there's certain people in the world who want to go through it to see what it is, and other people want to see what it is before they go through it. Mm-hmm. Virgos are, I want to see what it is before I go through it.
So they never push the send button. All right, y'all want to get started?
I didn't say that. My wife's a Virgo, so I didn't say that.
You done?
But you know what I'm talking about. You be like, hey, could you push send?
I do know. Our anniversary was yesterday.
Oh, congratulations.
And thank you. And we went to, so we just got our kitchen redone. We're getting certain things redone. So we have a fireplace that is half done for months now. Because I love my wife. She's running point on the things. But when we went yesterday, we went out shopping for some furniture spots. And I just said, I know how this needs to go. So I brought a certain amount of money with me. And I was like, we're getting these chairs. You like these chairs? I love them. All right, bring them up. If she even had any remote of enjoyment, they just went because I couldn't even let her talk out of, but is it gonna go at the, but is the gold legs gonna really matter? No, we get them. If they don't work, we're gonna return it.
Oh my
God! So when we left, she was like, I just wasn't prepared for how aggressive aggressive, and not like, come on, girl, but more just like if she liked it, it just was bought immediately. Let's not even.
Do that? Oh
you're quick to get it done. Let's just go on to the next thing. And so with Virgos, sometimes we like to calculate things and take our time.
2 years later,
I think mistakes have purpose. Mistakes are only part of the process. So I sit up when things don't go right. You know what I mean? So whereas Jarrell, who's part of my company, Jarrell's perfectionist, and I'm one who's like, throw it at the wall, let's see if it works. He's like, well, let's talk through it a little more. I'm like, oh no, we can talk through it.
Yeah, that's John Gregory for sure.
We can.
Yeah, he's like, get it out the door, press send, hurry, let's go. And I like what you said though, as far as just, the mistakes have purpose.
They have purpose, yeah.
Because you learn from the attempt.
Completely.
But if you do not make the attempt, you're not even moving anywhere. You're stuck.
Thank you.
So that's why I really wanted to go in on it. It's actually rolling, sir. That's why I wanted to go ahead and really talk a little bit more about this whole perfectionist and perfectionism idea, because a lot of people are walking around unaware that they're in their own way because of that idea of wanting to be perfect.
Well, I think this would be a good way to introduce. What we are doing is we are having real men, real talk conversations with black men across this country. We have 3 focuses. One is we want African American men to be whole physically. Okay. The other, we want black men to be whole mentally. And the third is to be whole financially. And the ones that we are focusing on today is the mental piece. Tomorrow you will experience the wellness, the making sure you understand your numbers. But in this space, we're trying to teach black men it's okay to talk. And it is very important. So we're going around, Kenny and I have been in a number of different states and cities in this country having these conversations and getting men to come and open up and have conversations about life. And it's been amazing because we've had rooms full of black men who have never really taken the time just to say, I'm hurting, I have pain, I've had this loss, or the divorce didn't go that good, or I don't have a relationship with my kids. And so one of the things through all of this, what we identified, and I'm glad Kenny brought that up, is his desire to be perfect. How he really was a perfectionist, and how that perfectionist, you can talk about how it impacted you.
Yeah, so mental wellness is just one piece of what our organization is focusing on. We holistically support African American men and their families. And so what we have seen is that a lot of men are walking around wanting to shed some of the weight that they're carrying that is unseen. They just don't have a safe space to do it. And so our Real Men Real Talk conversations has allowed men, and we do it in barbershops, we'll have it in a community center, or we'll be at a nice restaurant, but it gives men just a safe environment to self-disclose. So I've been able to self-disclose to thousands of men now across this country, some of the things that has really just weighed me down. So I'm not showing up in these cities just to pour into men. They're turning around and pouring back into me. And it's because I had this idea of being the oldest kid of 4, being a PK and a pastor's grandkid.
And that's drama.
So you already know what that comes with, right?
Yeah, I already know.
That comes with a lot of expectations.
What I have to deal with every day.
But the good thing about him is that he has, Mr. Gregory, or JG, has really shared with me what should have been shared with me by other men in my life. But as men, we sometimes don't want to tell each other the truth because we're thinking that this is something that I love you so much that I don't want to hurt you, not knowing that I'm hurting myself because I haven't addressed what I'm dealing with. So this perfectionist thing is something that it's like having an ailment and not knowing what I'm dealing with. Like,
talk about how you felt when you had that aha moment.
So when I finally had that realization that I was trying to be perfect, I was on a flight early this year to Houston, Texas, to go and do a Real Men Real Talk conversation. So hop on a flight. It was a rough morning. I was dealing with some things with our personnel on an executive level, and I'm sharing it with JG, and I'm on this flight, and it's just downward spiraling. I mean, this conversation is just eating me alive because I really felt like, as bad as I want to be perfect, I am so flawed and scarred in so many ways, and my blemishes, my shortcomings are exposed. So, but I'm not, who can I talk to about it, right? So I'm on this flight, and I just had to and we're talking through it, and I just said, it's time for me to release this. And I tell you what, I was bawling.
No, you looked it up in the dictionary.
Yes, that is true.
What up in the dictionary? What?
The word perfectionist.
The word perfectionist. I had to.
So wait, this one, because when we started, you asked me my sign, we started talking about Virgos.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you said perfectionist or did I say but I mean,
you said it.
That's crazy that's where we're having this conversation on. And you're saying that you looked it up in the dictionary.
Yes.
And the definition
was my face. It's my life. It's who I was.
Wow.
All of the characteristics. And
how long ago was that? No, you saying that's 30 days ago? How long was that?
No, that was about, I would say, 4 or 5 months back. So this is all still a work in progress for me.
Yeah.
But what I've learned, well, God will send you who you need in your life when you're ready to address certain things.
Indeed.
And so on that flight, I was able to share with him what I had found out about the word perfectionist. And how all the things that I had been struggling with, whether it's professionally and personally, it all pointed back to that. And so all these emotions just started coming left and right. And I'm on a flight.
30,000 feet up in the air.
And he didn't really know what was going on. So
Right.
he heard me kind of sniffling, and he was just like, you know, you okay? And I couldn't even respond because all I could do was just continue to cry because I never felt so helpless, but too prideful to ask for help. And that's where I really had the meltdown.
Let's stay right there.
Yeah.
So Eric, let me ask you, now that you've heard all this and you've sucked it all in, tell us about what do you think those things that you could be more vulnerable about? Do you have any anything that, like, are you a perfectionist, or is there something in your life that you look and say, I wish I could talk about this?
Well, the first thing I say is I thank God for songwriting because without it, I would probably have the same struggles you have. I'm a Libra. My birthday is September 26th. I'm not too far. My son's birthday is only days before mine, right? So the understanding of perfection was something I could easily see myself being crippled of, as well as I've long since started addressing my shortcomings and my worries, my fears. What I would tell you is that I feel like songwriting has given me a true channel to understanding what I'm supposed to learn, where I'm supposed to go. It's my true proof that God is real, because I will write something and not know the meaning of it. It's happened a million times. I've written something and I will stare at the paper going, or listen back going, what in the world did that come from? And 4 months later, I'll find out why. You know what I mean? Like I realized that there are no accidents and everything is purposeful if you are an instrument and your first instrument is to listen.
So would you tell us that then your songs, do you use them are they therapeutic?
Completely.
And so if I'm listening to your songs, and I'm glad I'm getting a chance to ask you this, are your songs a reflection of your emotions?
I can't say always yes. So what I would say is that, like, Lessons, for example, was written in the middle of the pandemic and completely scared out of my mind for my parents, for my wife, for my kids, for my friends. At this point, one of my closest friends from Howard, well, I have a circle of best friends. So you hear me say my best friend. So a circle of best friends, his brother had already passed away from COVID. They had a restaurant, so we have people who are sick and passing. My kids are home, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going down to the studio to write because it's what brings me peace. Like just letting out whatever's there. So, and that's a normal practice. That's just one example, but the night before I went down there, like once everybody was settled, once everybody went to sleep, and I'm restless trying to figure out how to balance the next day or how to have a 7-person staff in my team. I have a 9-member band. So I'm trying to figure out how my band going to work? How do we keep up the salaries for the staff and the things of that nature? So constantly just thinking all that stuff, like writing was always the thing that brought me back to neutral. And I've also found that most of the answers that I was searching for would show up in the writing. Or at least if I can't finish this verse, that tells me I need to read. That means I need to converse, and then the answer will be there. So if I don't have it, so I believe in read till you're full, write till you're empty. Read till you're full, write till you're empty. And the moment that I don't have it, go where it will be. So any answer I need opens up me having these conversations like you're having right now. And so I found that, like, I constantly find answers, but that wall, that brick wall, I ran into many times, first let me say. And I had to learn that. I'm turning 50 now, and I think I'm in a different place in my life.
You look good to be 50, man.
Thank you first and foremost.
What's the secret?
I don't know. I guess I'm something.
I wasn't going to guess 50 for you, man.
But I'm about to turn 50, but I think also, what I would tell you is, like, so even late last year, and Demi probably could even relate to some of this, understand this. Like, I remember when as soon as COVID finished, like, they died down, we went back on tour. I had a TV show I was filming. Lessons was huge, so the tour date was crazy. I was teaching at a college, was commuting to teach, and I during COVID I taught more. So 3 classes turned to 8 classes, and all these other work that I was working on, and I felt like I didn't have time. I didn't have time to find time. So I was like, I gotta learn how to start saying no again, make time to just find out what's meant for me.
Stay right there, I like
Yes,
that.
sir.
Learning to say no.
Learning to say no.
What's the power in saying no?
First off, if you're not saying no to something, you're saying no to yourself, first and foremost. So let me, if I even dial back, first of all, if we talk about men, right? Or just people.
Men,
like we say men.
Mm-hmm.
What I would tell you is that I went to all of my musical partners, anyone that I've collaborated with over the years, and I say, let's reassess what the word no means and understand that a lot of times if I tell you no, I'm helping you. Because I'd rather give you a no than an unfulfilled yes. As my brother, you call me and say, hey, I need you on this project, but yet my kids need me, my wife needs me. I'm working on a particular project, right? I might be trying to finish out the equation of getting something done, and I want to give you your time because I love you as a brother, right? So I'm like, I need to assess that. Like, can I really give you the time that you need to finish whatever you're trying to finish? If I cannot do that, I am obligated as your brother to tell you no, so that you can go find your yes. Because what we often do is someone comes, hey man, can you write this for me, or can you do this for me, or can you come help me move, or can you do whatever? And I got this crazy calendar, crazy schedule of my own stuff over here. And I'll go, because you my brother, yeah, I'll do it. And then I'm pushing you off. 2 months later, we still ain't done it yet. Or I half-heartedly done it. I didn't give you 100% of my effort. So if I can't give you 100% of my effort, I'm going to tell you no. I'm gonna tell you no, not out of mean spirit. You know, listen, I will give my arm for you, right? I will tell you no so that you can find your yes. I'll assist you to get your yes. But we don't need to be giving each other unfulfilled yeses.
Ooh,
That's deep. And a lot of men that we, myself included, that we have been working with in these spaces, they try to take on whatever is thrown their way. Whatever request is being submitted, it's how can I find a way to make it work?
Just as guilty.
And we talked about, we had a conversation with Pac-Man Jones, former NFL star, a few weeks back,
Great player.
a month or so back, and we were really going in on the idea how important it is for us to, when you're flying, and when they're going through the safety protocols, they encourage you and they instruct you to put on your oxygen mask first.
Then assist the person next.
Then assist.
Totally.
Because oftentimes we run around and try to just save and serve and fulfill all the requests of others, and we are just walking around empty.
Right.
Or we're suffocating.
Right.
Because it's way too much.
Right.
And so what you're saying there is key, and a lot of men, we have to make that adjustment quickly.
Yeah.
Or some of the things that we're dealing with as far as the wellness side of it, as far as our physical wellness, high blood pressure. We understand that 85% of the men that come to our wellness events, they're walking around with high blood pressure or high blood pressure, and they're unaware. But it's because of the weight that we're trying to carry day in and day out. That stuff weighs on us.
And we're not even talking about physical weight. We're actually talking about emotional weight too as well. So
exactly.
No, I said, what was your aha moment to make you decide, I better learn how to say no?
So just late last year, in the middle of a semester of teaching, and I was getting on the road, and I felt like, I remember I was in the car. I was just leaving my house, and just way down. I had another 3-day run of shows, half-finished projects at the house, kids not really getting the time that they rightfully deserve, wife not getting the time she rightfully deserves, and all these projects laying around. And I remember just going, because people call me and ask for advice, and I'm one telling them, find time, and I ain't got time.
Yeah, come on.
So I was like in the car going, I am a hypocrite. I remember the day like it was yesterday. I was like, okay, I gotta make some decisions. And I remember telling the school that I'm gonna take a break from teaching. And interesting, I didn't pass on the show. So I work on this TV show called That's My Jam with Jimmy Fallon. And we were supposed to shoot 1 month. It got pushed. We were supposed to shoot in September, whatever. It got pushed to February or whatever it was. And when that date came, my tours, I couldn't fit it in. It was October, I'm sorry. My tour dates wouldn't let me even fit the time. I was supposed to be in California for 2 months. I had left those 2 months open during the time we first supposed to shoot. Once you postponed it, the dates just didn't line up. But I wasn't supposed to be shooting that anyway, because I just couldn't afford to be in, no matter what, financial, whatever, I couldn't afford to be in LA for 2 months, right? You know, so just with all the stuff that was going on. So I started making the adjustments to find time. And I told my staff, so even interesting enough, and they'll tell you, I said, top of January, give me 4 months. 4 months. Do not put anything on my table. Don't even come to me with any ideas. Give me 4 months. I'm gonna pay everybody's salary. I'm gonna ask you to do a thing. I'm gonna stay on the road. I tour Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday through Thursday, I'm gonna be home in the studio or wherever I need to be. I might write a book, I might write songs. I don't know what I'm doing, but I need the space to listen and work. And work for 4 months, and then I'm gonna give you what I worked on, and then for the rest of the year, we're gonna figure out how to make money off of it. And that's when I show up with whatever I worked on, that's when I'm gonna need you. That's when you're gonna earn your money. That's when whatever, and that's when you can bring all your ideas and whatever. But do not interrupt whatever I'm listening for. And what I would tell you is, I wrote like over 30 songs in that time. Wow. And I will tell you, I had this amazing conversation with this gentleman before, and he said something it didn't even put two and two together, that I was talking about imagination. So I wrote this song called Mask. I'm gonna send it to you when we're done. And I will tell you that my kids get home from school at like 3:30. So I had this idea, my daddy came over, and I think I said something to my dad, and the whole idea showed up. So I run downstairs, I sit at the keyboard, and I go, I can't wear this mask any longer. I'm feeling I'm making it. And then it's like the time, like ding, ding, ding. I was like, bus is coming. So I taped just enough to get it, and I let it go, because I gotta listen for what the songs my kids are coming off the bus with. I can't have that song there, so I put it aside. So they come on the bus, we have a good old time, play whatever. What I will tell you is around 7 o'clock, once everybody's kinda down and everybody's moving into their thing, I went back down there and I cried for like 2 hours playing this song. Cried through the whole thing. So much so that I've been taping all the songs. I didn't tape anything. I couldn't even get to the cameras. Cameras all around the studio, like filming the entire, from the time I walk in to the time I walk out, whether it's 10 hours, the cameras are filming, just so the aha moment is captured. This song had me so messed up that I just couldn't even, I just was crying, singing, and honestly couldn't relate to the song. The song wasn't about me. It wasn't even anything what I was going through. I was as happy, I was as content, I was as truthful, as revealing as I've ever been in my entire life. But yet I had this idea, and to commit to the idea, I had to commit to the character. And the character was broken, so I was broken, right? And I struggled to get through it. Struggled to get through it. This beautiful, beautiful song. And once I got through the song and I listened to it, I was like, wow. And then we posted it in the process, like a group of people that listen to songs, and then you hear the testimonies, I so needed this song, this is whatever.
Actually, while you were saying that, the words, just the mask, I think it's really our concept of real men, real talk.
Absolutely.
I'm like, maybe we could partner with you to use that as part of our
Don't know accidents.
Because that is what we're trying to do, is get black men to unmask.
Right.
And as you were, can you share some of the words with us?
Let me see. I might have it written down in my phone, and if not, I can just easily pull the song up. Yes, I hear it right here. I can't wear this mask any longer. I don't think that I'm getting stronger. I had so long I don't recognize who I am. The world doesn't really know me, and even when I try to show me, they scratch their heads because they don't know really who I am. Allow me the time to introduce who I am to me once again, and one day I think I will know him better, and then maybe we can get together so I can introduce myself to you once again.
Woo.
So, but the one part I do want to say, there's a part in here My favorite line. There's several of your lines. This song, and I will send it to everyone here. I can't wear this mask any longer. The urge to me is getting stronger. I yearn to know exactly how it feels to be free. I can't let my fears control me. For far too long, I allowed it to hold me back from seeing what was truly meant for me. But now I'm here, and I think it's time I stop thinking about what others think of me. What am I afraid of at this point in my life? I gotta go out and see what's there for me. I'm willing to chance the uncertain rather than stand in what's certainly not for me.
That is so powerful.
Yeah, the song. I mean, and mind you, that's what I had to check, because I wasn't writing anything down. I was just sitting at the keyboard crying and just singing. And so I'm saying it's just showing up. It's showing up, and I'm reacting to it. So it got to the point where I'm reacting to it, and then I get so emotional I had to stop, and I'm sitting there sobbing, whatever. I clean myself up, and I'll go right back to working, and then the words would hit me, because as I'm saying them, it's not like I'm saying like, oh, this is gonna be a dope line. I'm saying it like, it's hitting me. The song was like punching me the whole time, and I had to like when I finally went back to look at it, I was like, I don't know if this song is mine. This song was mine at one point, right? I might be pulling from 4th grade and from college. I might be pulling from different areas, but that's not where I'm at right now. But also, when I was telling the gentleman here, when I go in the studio with my imagination, I try to figure out what am I trying to write about, and then I try to be that, try to define it as much as possible. And then for that hour, 2 hours, that room transfers to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so like how actors, they make that connection with the character that they're playing, the role that they're playing. And I'm glad that you went back and you said, well, this could have been me years ago, right?
It was me.
Was you, right? Yeah. And back to that whole perfectionist idea, we will sometimes, that is the mask that we're wearing. From an external perspective, you're making sure that your presentation is perfect. You're making sure that the way that your outfit is everything has to be perfect. But behind all of that, like you said, there's some brokenness there.
Yeah.
Some things that may not have been addressed that we're trying to. I want to deter. I want to kind of disrupt, or not disrupt, but put you over. Focus over here, because I don't want you to see what's going on over here. Right?
Exactly.
And so that right there is something that we have heard all the time, how men are just, they're broken.
Yeah.
And they haven't given themselves the permission to be vulnerable enough to just admit that. You know, looking in the mirror and saying, I'm not whole. You know, that's a hard conversation to have with self. But on the other side of that conversation is so much freedom and so much liberation.
Yeah, I think that's where in my answer to your first question, is that I walk around flawed. I don't walk around crazy. Even go back to the gentleman right here, didn't apologize for. I'm not ashamed to let you know that I am autistic, or I apologize for any of that level. So the other day, I made a song up. We were in Chicago, and an artist friend of mine, that's not true, I was in Nashville. An artist friend of mine was there, and I made the song up on stage just from scratch. And he said, man, just watching you make that song was just crazy. And he says, but are you ever like worried that it won't work? Or like with mistakes and stuff like that? I said, well, there's plenty of times it won't work, but it's worth trying. It's like if it works, everybody's always gonna remember it, right? You know, so it's like plenty of times it don't work. We'll adjust out. It'll survive. It won't just be crash and complete burn, right? But my relationship with mistakes are different now. My relationship with flaw is different now. So when I crack a note, which will happen tomorrow, I'm gonna sing a note and it's gonna come out wrong, but I will tell you that 9 times out of 10, if I keep singing through it and don't stop and evaluate myself, like, oh my God, I cracked that note, someone in the back is gonna go, oh, he really feeling that song. Cause anybody being right. I tell the band, I said, if we had a sub come in, let's say, which has plenty of time, let's say the bass player can't make the gigs, we bring another bass player in. And this guy, he been listening to the tape, he been trying to learn the whole night. You know what I say to him before we get on stage? If you're gonna mess up loud. If you're gonna mess up loud. If you're unsure, be loud.
That right there, though. That right there, the permission.
Permission, because I'd rather you be loud and wrong than passively right.
So I'm gonna share something with you on that note. So
it's not gonna make us cry, is it?
It might. It just might.
It might.
It just might.
I'm ready.
But
I need
that's
it.
really
Let's
real
go.
talk, right?
Right.
So that permission piece is so powerful because leading this organization, right? I'm the president of the African American Male Wellness Agency. We're the health and wellness arm of the National Center for Urban Solutions, which is founded by Mr. Gregory, and he's the CEO of NCUS, right? He and I have been able to, over the last couple years, get to a space where he's had to say exactly what you just said. Mess up, and if you tear it all up, you just tear it all up. But I got you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you fail.
Yeah.
But it's because he's so tapped into the idea that, wait a minute, I need you to at least make the attempt. I need you to at least take the shot, swing the bat, shoot the ball, throw the pass, do something. But don't allow your battles with perfectionism and being a perfectionist allow you to become just stuck. And so to hear you say that to your bass player or to a sub, you have no idea what that is doing to men who they're telling themselves, why am I qualified to do what it is that I'm doing? Or they're overthinking.
Yeah.
Instead of just acting and learning from the mistake. If you do make the mistake, because you don't even know if you're going to go up there and make a mistake.
So it's even simple. And Tommy Davidson told me this many years, changed my life. He said, the only person who knows what works is God. That's it. So why are you going to sit and try to tell me what works? You don't know.
Yeah.
God knows. We don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So try to see if it works. The only way it's a mistake is that it didn't work. Does that really make it a mistake? Or was that the first attempt to see is that my first attempt for God to communicate to me?
Well, I mean, you said it best. God has a funny way of showing
you lessons. Guess what? I'm trying to show you a lesson. You're not listening. I'm trying to show you a lesson again. Yeah. But I will tell you what, the funny thing is, leading up to that song, and I'll even tell you two things about this song. I wrote this essay probably the day before that song called God is a Comedian. And it was a very simple, I think it was almost kind of like, stop taking life so serious and remember that God's a comedian. He created Richard Pryor, right? So sometimes God is going to trip you up for the hell of it. And it's like, it was something as simple as that, but it was the point of like, certain times he's going to open a door for you. And certain times he's going to stick his foot out. Like sometimes he has to stick his foot out because you're not going to pay, he's going to open the door, you're not going to walk through it. He's going to turn the light on, you're going to turn it off. He like, cool, all right, let me crash your truck.
Now I got your attention.
Now I got your attention. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like sometimes things actually had to happen, and then I'm sitting going, you crashed my truck gonna crash. No, why is the truck crashed up? Why was the purpose behind? What's the purpose behind the mistake? What's the purpose behind the failure? What's the purpose behind things not going right? There's a purpose behind it. Now I can sit and pity myself, you know what I mean? Which is what we usually do. But if you take a second and just breathe for a second and go, why? Then it comes the answer. So going back to lessons, here's this thing I'm writing all the time.
And you should know Kenny knows the whole song for lessons because he sung it for about 2 weeks straight to himself.
2 weeks straight to himself.
Yeah, sure did.
I appreciate it because I need people like Kenny.
It got me through some valleys, but it also got me through some high times too, because there's so many jewels that are wrapped up in the lyrics. And then the remix that you did with
the brothers,
Raheem, and you did it with Kevin Ross and Anthony Hamilton. I mean, that right there, I tell you, I shared it with everybody I knew.
Everybody.
I did.
And he can sing it. We're in the car driving, and he can sing the whole song.
Absolutely. On repeat for like 3 hours.
Yes.
So
just that one song.
So I will tell you how there's no accidents. So there can be mistakes, but there are no accidents, right?
Agreed.
So there's these brothers named Anakin and Vader, amazing producers, good friends of mine. And they send me this music. They send me this guitar track. Blim, blim. It was probably at midnight they sent it to me or something like that. I said, this is crazy. I said, can I write a check for it right now? I want it. It's amazing. I said, I love it. And they said, well, wait. We just was sending, we just friends. We all share. So we were just sending it to you out of just like, He said, but we actually sent it to this other artist real quick. So we should have sent it to you first. He said, let us find out what's going on with this other artist first. Mm-hmm. Now my ego could have gotten in the way and be like, nah, whatever, nah, keep it, whatever. I said, no, listen, let me know what works out. If it's free, holla at me, right? Mm-hmm. About 3 days later, around midnight, they hit me back and say, yo, the artist never replied. So if you want it, shoot your shot. I said, listen, I'm gonna record tonight.
Wow.
Because I can't afford for that artist to call tomorrow. So I want it, so I'm recording tonight. What's crazy is now that's midnight. I go down, I said about 3 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. When I go down into the studio, it's now my anniversary. Mm-hmm. My anniversary was yesterday. But that day, wife just went to sleep. Now it's 3 o'clock in the morning of my anniversary, and I'm going downstairs thinking about my anniversary, thinking about my life. I looked at all my kids, everybody sleep, and this, that. It's the middle of COVID. Mm-hmm. Just wrote this poem. What I'll tell you is that if they didn't send it to another artist, I would have wrote a different song that day.
Wow.
That day I went downstairs and would have wrote whatever was on my mind. But it happened that by the time they called me and said, hey, nah, guess what? The track is yours. Mm-hmm. Now it's my anniversary. Now it's got me thinking about my wife, thinking about ups and downs, things that my past relationships. And when I'll tell you, even when I first wrote it, we talk about cameras in the studio. So initially, I finished it probably 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was. And I'm more worried about, I'm not even thinking of God as a funny way of showing you lessons. The first line of the hook is, now I realize everyone that let me down led me to you. And I was like, is that taking a swing at my exes? I was like, that might be a little tough. So I'm thinking, my mind is saying, should I change that line? And I was like, well, God gave me the line. If God gave me the line, I might as well honor it. But I was like, I might owe somebody an apology. Somebody might be feeling some kind of way. But if camera's on, okay, downloaded the phone, sent it out, went to bed, and woke up the next morning to like thousands of comments.
Oh yeah.
So it was like so I had to get out of the way of it, because my if I stayed in the way of it, no one even heard it, because I was like, oh, okay, some people gonna be tripping and whatever. Wow. But it's like, at the end of the day, there's no accidents. Things lined up the way they're supposed to line up. And the song I could have wrote 3 days before that might have been a great song. You might have still loved it, but it wasn't that song.
Yeah.
And that song is for that conversation, for you to share it with that person. And even the song I wrote this year called Mask is for that conversation, or for your organization, or whatever. Like, everything has a purpose if we just stop and get back to the nature of things. A bear knows when to hibernate. A squirrel knows what to collect, and this and that and that. A tree knows, or even a plant knows what chemicals to give off to attract insects to eat off the poisons and the pollen or whatever that's weighing itself down. So why do we not stop and listen to how God and nature is nudging us? Why? Because we have so much choice and we have ego, right? But if we make room, make time for us to find time, we make room to listen, right?
Yeah.
To the natural aspects of what our body is telling us. Because we know when things are wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But we as black men are constantly self-medicating ourselves.
Or we ignore.
Ignore it.
If we have a tire pressure light that pops up on our vehicle, or if we have a check engine light that pops up on our vehicle, how do we respond to that?
Get it fixed.
Get it fixed. So we know more. We value what's going on with our vehicles than we value what's going on with our bodies. And so we've been pushing that message all year, because there's so many brothers. That's why we do the work we do, because so many brothers are walking around and they're not prioritizing getting themselves a health screening, or going to the doctor, or just finding out, what is my blood pressure?
Or just talking.
Or just having a conversation.
Or just talking, and sharing information.
I just want to say this to you, while we're going to try to wrap this up. Like, I don't believe there's any coincidences in life.
No.
And I went blind several years ago after going to the doctor in November and getting a regular eye check, and the doctor saying your eyes are fine, and went to New Orleans to do a walk and came back and was blind. I was gonna have the biggest celebration of my life. I was turning 60, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna show everybody have a party. And I went blind 2 weeks before my birthday. But something you said today really touched me in a certain kind of way. And I really do believe this is divine order. So let me say this. One, the song Mask fits into what we are trying to promote to black men. It's okay to talk. And it is so very clear to me that the real topic is take that mask off.
Yes.
That we need to get men. So I do want to we still probably do want to steal your song. So if you hear it, know they stole it from you, and you gave us permission, didn't he? On tape.
On tape.
And then the other thing that I think that you just said that was so powerful is the part about everything that I've gone through. That whole part in your song Lessons is that you led me to all the disappointments, all the bad relationships, all of the stuff. It led me to my greatness.
Yes.
And I think that if we had any message that we wanted to send to our brothers is that what you said today was so extremely powerful because you are a walking experience of how success will look like when you go through the stuff that you go through. And so I wanted to thank you for sharing those words with us because they're extremely powerful.
Thank you.
Kenny and I are talking to black men and black men who have lost their siblings and have never cried, or who have gone through divorces and have never had an opportunity to grieve the pain, or got children that lost children, or children who are out there being crazy, or got jobs or what have you. All these different situations that we never, black men, we just don't talk about it. And so I'm going to thank you for talking with us today and sharing, because it was power. And I know that when we post this, a number of people will see this, and some black men's life will be changed as a result of your comments today. And so
thank you.
We appreciate you for giving us this time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. No, great. I look forward to having more conversations, and I'll send the song to you guys right away. It's not mixed, so let me mix it and also like that. But yeah, I think it's something that if it touches you guys, then I say share away.
Don't touch me.
Yeah.
Because you know, when I listen to black men across this country, and I look at the condition of our communities, and I look at black men, and I look at when I talk to women, and 50 of the guys who work with us are black males out of our staff. And when I listen to how I work with them and have to see how they miss something from somebody telling them that they could be great, or they could be bigger than who they are. They lack a lot of self-esteem, and a lot of black men, their ego is wrapped up below their belt. And so, they feel like, the number of brothers that I see, they got a number of kids and a number of baby mamas.
Yeah.
And somehow or another, they thought that was going to make them a man. And now they gotten older, they realized that didn't make me a man. So your power of your words are really needed for our black men in this moment in time. Yeah. And so, I appreciate you. I appreciate Malcolm, and I want to tell you I appreciate you too, because I know you have learned something today. But Kenny, and we're glad we had a chance to do this, and we're going to look forward to you tomorrow. It's your time. We've been promoting you all over the city.
It's going to be great.
Well, it better be great. Because we're going to put you out there now.
Right.
But I'm excited for you, and so I want to thank you for this time. Can you got something you'd like to?
Yeah, it's funny how Lessons was the track or the song for me.
Yeah.
But learning here today, Mask is going to be the song for JG and our entire organization. And that's why I don't believe that this is definitely divine. I'm a huge advocate for all things are working together for our good. And I was actually born on that day, and there's a whole conversation about that and how I found my purpose in that. And so to have an opportunity to have this conversation with you, to just pour back into you and let you know that the work that you're doing is literally impacting lives of men, and we are excited about partnering with you so that more men can feel comfortable hearing songs, connecting with songs, but more importantly, being able to have their lives changed by just being vulnerable enough to just talk about what are you hearing, what did that song make, how did it make you feel? Yeah. And so we appreciate you on behalf of the entire organization. Thank you so much for all the work that you're doing and the fact that you took time out of your schedule to have this conversation with us. We can't thank you enough.
That's mine, man.
I was sitting here thinking, I was like, wouldn't it be nice to have a conference, and part of the conference having you have a session with black men and going through the songs and using it as a therapy session, like playing Mask and then listening to that and having brothers talk about taking off their masks. I was like, what if we had a session and you just sung that song and we talked about it and then asked men in that session, take off your mask.
But even now, I'll tell you, once I've heard, I do songwriting workshops. And it doesn't mean that you have to be a songwriter or you have singing or music ability to write songs. So I used to work at this foster care program, and we used to have them write songs. And some of the best songs you ever imagine were being written, we can put it in song form. So for example, let's say a gentleman write, and I say, don't worry about making it rhyme. Don't worry about, I want you to write about what's impacted you or how you feel after we talk. And then we would turn it into a verse, and then we would turn it into a actual song that can actually be performed. Is something that can actually happen as well. So, I mean, we could talk, we could figure it out and stuff like that, but I think it's, in general, you want someone to express. Songwriting is about expression. We're talking about black men talking, expressing what they feel. You can't heal until you reveal, great line you said earlier. So, about revealing. And I always say, like, you're not writing if you're not revealing, right? So,
that's it.
So then you find that and you turn it into something tangible that we can amplify, like song is even greater.
Well, hey, Eric, we can't thank you enough, and we appreciate you. This has been incredible.
So